Hello and welcome again, crafties. My name is Infinity and I am back again with sort of a mini tutorial. This tutorial is going to be a little different. I'm not showing you guys how to do a stitch today. I am showing you how to make your first small project that you can wear and sport to all of your friends. Today I am going to be showing you guys how to do an infinity cowl, but I'll be doing it in a smaller, easier to work version. Today, I am doing a couple videos, midterms or next week, so this is also a great little time for me to relax as well. So without further ado, we'll get started. Today, what you'll need is a crochet hook. I have brought back my size 5. I know you see the H there. H is a 5mm crochet hook in US terms, or metric terms. I don't remember at this point. Today, again, the crochet hook, the yarn, of course, you might need scissors, you might need stitch markers. I have these fun little safety pin looking stitch markers. You can get them off of eBay, and any pair of scissors will do. I just have my handy little snips with me. So to get started today, we will be making a slip knot. And again, if you're not familiar with anything, you just jumped headfirst into this, I would recommend going back to my earlier videos because they go over that. This tutorial is going to be for those who already know how to do the chaining, the slip knots, the half double crochets, and possibly the single crochets if you want to do your infinity scarf in single crochets. More power to you. If you look on my Instagram, you'll see a lot of samples of the infinity stuff that I have made lately. I don't know, it's been a craze with me. I don't know why. So I'm going to make my slip knot finally, and make sure it's not too tight on your hook. Otherwise you won't be able to do your chaining, which can get super crazy or super annoying. You can use any weight of yarn that you want to use and any sized hook that you want to use or that matches the gauge on your yarn. But today I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in Pumpkin. Thought that was fitting. And again, the gauge for it is like 5mm, so I'm using my size 5 crochet hook. So what I'm doing is chaining, I would say in a pattern of 10 plus 2. A lot of the infinity scarves that you'll see on my Instagram, they are like a chain of 100 plus 2, and I slip stitch that together. So what I'm going to do now is do a chain of 20 plus 2, so I should have 22 stitches in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to pause. Now, something I like to do, especially the bigger the project gets, I will take these stitch markers and every maybe 10 or 25 stitches, I will put one in there just to kind of make my counting easier later on, especially if I'm doing a project with single crochets. It all gets blended in together and it's a nightmare to try to count, at least to me, no matter how bright the colors are. So there's our 10 stitches. So now we're going to go for number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Gonna add another stitch marker in there just for fun. I would say just for fun. It's so tiny, I really don't need these, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Close it up. And 21, 22. Alright, so we're going to lay our chain out flat, which might be a little fickle, but nonetheless, we're going to keep it flat. And this is critical because when you go to twist your chain to make your infinity do what an infinity scarf is supposed to do, you don't want a whole lot of extra twists in your project. So what I'm gonna do is carefully pick it up without twisting my chain, and I'm gonna insert into that first chain right there, and I am going to slip stitch. Now, for those of you that don't know what the slip stitch is, I have not gone over that, but it is essentially putting your hook through the other side of your project that you're trying to connect, yarning over and pulling it through both that stitch or chain and the other stitch that you had on your hook. Now we have this little cool fun circle, you know, hello, congratulations. What we're going to do now is chain 2. I say chain 2 because if you remember in my previous tutorial, I said that half double crochets are twice the height of single crochet, so it makes sense to have 2 chains. At least that's my theory on it. So after chaining 2, I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook right through the middle of that first chain, and I am going to half double crochet all the way around until I get to the end. So I'll meet you guys back there, okay? Alright, so now I am in the middle of going into my last stitch. So I'm just going to do my yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And I'm not going to close off this row. So pull this up right now, and I've woven in my string, but you can save that for the end if you have a yarn needle, or if you know how to weave it in without doing all that, then that's cool too. So just to get that tail out of my way, just snip them off and get rid of them. Okay, right now my chain is completely flat, or my stitches are completely flat. It looks like a little miniature wristband. It's adorable. What you're going to want to do is once you get to this point, like I said, do not close off this row. You are going to be twisting at this point, and this is the only twisting that you should ever do in your whole project. So instead of working on the right side of your stitches, you're going to actually be working on the bottom part of your stitches, and then from then on out you're going to be simultaneously working both sides of your infinity scarf, growing it out on both ends until you get it as big as you want it to be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this back on its proper orientation, and I'm just going to hold this other side, and I'm going to move my hook out the way for you guys. And what I'm going to do is just turn it just like that, whole 180. That's it. And doing that, make sure that you don't twist it twice, like I said. Keeping that side down, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to go into this bottom little, it's not really a stitch, but the bottom of your first stitch, and you're going to pull up a loop and do your first half double crochet on that side. And this connects it in a way that will make it grow on both sides. As you see, it'll never be even unless you work it that way. But for the sake of today, with working this with chaining, you'll have that little step up to let you know where each row starts and ends. So now what we're going to do, we're going to keep working these half double crochets in the bottom of these stitches, and I'll work along with you. Just yarning over, inserting, yarning over, pulling up, yarning over, pulling through all 3. And just keep going along. I know it took me quite a while to start liking to make infinity scarves and cowls, just because I couldn't understand how to twist it without getting extra twists, or it was just a mess for a while there. But I eventually got the spirit to get back in there, and now I'm doing it. Again, looking on my Instagram, I have had sort of an infinity fever, maybe because it's my name, although it's spelled differently. Maybe that's why I like them now. I don't know. But they're super quick projects to make. You know, winter is coming, so a lot of us want to make up those perfect handmade gifts to give our loved ones and friends. You know, trying to budget. Totally understand. And just going along at your own pace. being careful not to get your hook snagged in your stitch. Just pull it out instead of trying to force it through there, because otherwise you'll mess up the yarn and fray it. And we're almost there. But again, if you're doing a bigger one, you're not going to be almost there. And again, this is a little mini sample. Okay. Now, wow, we ended up on that side. And as you can see, in your project, you have that little perma twist. It will never lay flat, no matter how much you try to force it that way. It will just not be flat. So, congratulations, you have successfully made that infinity loop that crushed me for like 2 years. So, we're gonna keep going along in this way, going into that last little stitch. Sometimes it doesn't look like a little loop right there, but it is. And again, I do count those chain twos as a stitch. So we're going to go into the top of this chain two at the beginning of this row, insert our hook, and do a slip stitch. Chain two. And the cycle repeats. So by the time you finish this project, I can show you a sample. By the time you finish this project, you should have something similar to this one. This one has yarn attached to it. But no, this one is a completed one that I just did maybe a week or two ago. And it has this permanent twist. It's nice, it's snug, and it's done completely in half double crochets. I think the yarn is Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable. I'm not sure which color it comes in. I call it Mother of Pearl, but that's not the name that was on the label, so I do apologize for that. So yeah, you're going to end up with something neat like this. I'm also sorry for the camera space and the proximity. I am working on getting a new camera so that my tutorials could be that much better for you all. Better quality, more working space, most definitely. And so if you are interested, you could consider donating a coffee or buying something from the Infinity Crafting merch shop, which is on Teespring. The link will be down in the description. But yeah, so I am going to continue along this way for a couple more rows, and I will meet you back here to show you what I have for the mini sample, all right? Okay, and we're back. So this is my little infinity scarf. I've cut it off, and I just have the one tail because I wove in that first one earlier. So now I'm just gonna, show you guys how to sew it in. Now, if you have what's called fray check, which I'll show you. Fray check is like, it's basically liquid stitch, and I've had mine for a while, so like the writing is gone. But this little blue stuff, you can get it at Michael's, you can get it at Walmart. It's not that expensive. It might be $3. And basically, it helps secure those stitches. So if you're a little paranoid about your stuff coming apart after you weave it in, then you can add a little dab of this basically fabric glue wherever it is that you want to secure your stitch, and you're good to go. So, anywho, just to sew it in, we're going to get a yarn needle or a darning needle. It doesn't matter, really an upholstery needle. And we're just going to guide the thing through there. Now, if you have the wax or a little condensation from a water bottle, that's cool. I find those easy to use. Or if you're old school with sewing, you can do the whole lick your finger and straighten that out. But for the sake of the video, we're not going to do that. And just going to make sure that where we closed off our project is nice and secure and down so it doesn't come apart. It won't come apart. What we're going to do is insert our hook at the top of that stitch, and we're just gonna, you know, find some sweet spots to weave this strand through. It doesn't have to be woven in any particular way. I kind of alternate it from going straight to like going in and out, like a weave stitch or something. Some people don't like that. It's just all up to you. But once you have sewn it in to your liking and pull it through, you can snip it off. And you're ultimately done. And me, just being me, I'm just going to use my little fray check and secure that. Sometimes I secure it before I snip it down because otherwise it kind of blends in, or it can blend in. It has the capability to do that. And there we go. Alright, so that's how you make an infinity scarf. Good luck, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or send me a private message, alright? Have fun crocheting!